The old man then asked Bidemi to show him the spot where she awoke, and Bidemi took him to the exact spot, which was a short distance from his hut. The old man then showed Bidemi a magical door by the tree, saying that Bidemi could only return if the door opens, and that after a certain time, it would be impossible for her to ever return, as the door disappears when one's time is up. Bidemi's heart raced, as she had never heard a thing like this before. She asked the old man what she could do to open the door, and the old man revealed to her that only when a loved one yearns for one's return would the door be opened unto them. Bidemi began to panic, as she knew that the only person in the world who loved her was her mother. Bidemi knew that with her mother's memory loss, it would be difficult for her old mother to remember her, talk more of wishing for her return. At that point, Bidemi began to regret all the terrible things she said and did to her old mother, and prayed that her mother remembered her soon, so that she could return back to their village. Whilst in the land of the forgotten, Bidemi heard a cry and decided to check who was crying. She saw a very beautiful little girl who sat at a corner alone. Bidemi wondered how one would forget such a beautiful girl and decided to approach her. She asked what her name was and why she was crying, and the little girl revealed that her name was Biola, and that she was crying because her doll just vanished and that she had no way of returning back to the real world. Bidemi asked the girl why no one had thought about her and wished for her return all this while, and the girl said to her that she was the beloved daughter of a very powerful king. One day, she woke up to screams and commotion in her father's palace and noticed that the king of the rival village had sent some men to invade her father's palace, killing everyone present, including her father, the king. Biola tried to run away, but was caught by one of the men, who hit her on the head with a very huge stick. She woke up to find herself in the land of the forgotten and hoped that someone who loved her would wish for her return, but no one did, and her doll finally disappeared, leaving her trapped in the land. Tears filled Bidemi's eyes as she felt so terrible for Biola. Bidemi then decided to go sit at the spot where she appeared, hoping that her door would miraculously open. For days, nothing happened, and the thought of remaining stuck in the land of the forgotten frightened Bidemi, who began to sing an old song her old mother taught her to sing whenever she was in trouble. Bidemi sang the song repeatedly as tears poured down from her eyes. As she was singing, Bidemi noticed that her doll began to fade. She rushed to the old man's hut to ask how much longer she had till the doll finally disappeared, and the old man revealed to her that once a person's doll begins to fade, it lasted only a few hours before it finally disappeared, and Bidemi sat down on the floor and began to wail out loud. She called out for her dear mother and asked for her forgiveness. Bidemi apologized to her mother from her heart, promising that if she ever returned to their village, that she will make things right by looking after her old mother. Bidemi called her mother by the sweet names that she called her when she was a child, and this brought back all the good memories as Bidemi began to remember all of her mother's sacrifices for her, as well as the not so good memories when her mother stayed hungry just to ensure that she had food to eat. Tears continued to pour out of Bidemi's eyes as she noticed that the doll was fast fading away.